Hey guys, it is Loves to Loom here. I'm super excited to be back filming today. I know it's been a while. Today I'm going to be showing one of my new designs, my own original. It's called the Hidden Rainbow. And this was made on one loom. It did take about 175 bands using 2 looms so that I could get a full wrap. That's what I will be doing today. But for those of you who only have one loom, you can do it with an extension. This is the front side, and I do think it looks better with more than one color in the center. I did all white on this one, and as you can see, I did the rainbow on this one, which I think looks better in my opinion. And the back side is cute as well, but you do have to fiddle with these bands to get them to lay straight. But it doesn't take too much, and this is a really easy design. I have a couple of designs that I came up with using the same type of, well, very similar looping and technique. So once I get them all filmed, you'll see what I mean. But the other ones are Bam Bam, Fiddle Diddle, and yeah, this one, Hidden Rainbow. So hopefully I can get them all filmed and posted soon. But without rambling on any longer, let's go ahead and get started. So to make this bracelet, like I said before, you only need 1 loom. I'm going to use 2 so I can avoid an extension. You just want to have a regular setup in the stagger position like so. We're going to start by laying the border bands, which are the white ones on this one. Very simple. I'm going to use opaque purple today. So we'll start by taking 1 band. We'll just lay it there at the beginning. That's for the closure. We'll go out to the right and the left. And then we'll just go up the sides. We're going to actually take this all the way to the very end of the loom. If you're not using 2 looms, just go all the way to the end of 1 loom, and then you will need to make an extension. And when I get down to the second to last pin, then I'm actually going to bring it in, like so. And then come to the beginning and do the same thing on the left side. Actually, that band looks really thick. I must say, it feels really good to be back. It seems like it's been an eternity since I've filmed any tutorials. And for those of you who are not on Instagram, probably have no idea where I am or if I was even coming back. So I am very sorry if you have been wondering where I am. But I am back and I'm super excited. So once again, when you get to the second to the last pin, bring it in like so. So now you can take a minute to push all of those down. And we are going to come back to the beginning. And now you're going to decide what color you want to be where my gray is in this bracelet. And that is actually going to be double banded when we lay these. We're going to be laying them horizontally across each pin, or each row. So like I said, it's the gray here, and I'm going to use white. You'll need about 50 of these bands. So as I said, they're going to be double banded, so you're going to grab 2 of those bands, and we're going to be stretching them across the left to the right. like so. Come up to the next set of pins, bring it across. We're going to do that all the way up. And you are going to do it on the very first row and the very last row. And I did notice you want to try to make sure they're not all twisted. The straighter they are, the cleaner your bracelet is going to come out in the end. So just try to take your time and lay them nice and neat. I have not made this bracelet with any other type of band besides opaque, but I would imagine it would be fine except for the next set of bands, which I'll get to that in a moment. But so for the bands that we've laid, you should not have a problem with using any other type of band. That band felt a little flimsy, so that's why I'm switching it. Do. Two more rows and I'll be done. Okay, so just make sure you come down to the very last row. You are going to want to go through and push them down so that you are ready to lay our next set. We have just one more row to lay. Okay, so now we are going to lay bands in the shape of a V, and that's going to be our inner bands, which I used rainbow on this one. So I'm going to use gray and green, neon green. So we're going to start on not the very bottom row. We're going to come up one to this row here. So skip the first one, come up to the second one, lay one out to the left and one out to the right. Just making a V. Come up to the next one, do the same thing. I'm going to switch colors and use my gray. Come up to the next one, left, right. Very basic. So we're going to lay these all the way down. And this is the bands that I was saying, you may not want to use like a real sticky band or a band that twists up a lot because of the way we have to loop it. It may work. I'm just warning you that it may make the bracelet look messy if you do. So. Alrighty. So this is what your loom should look like now. So definitely take a moment, push them down a little bit, and then turn your loom around, like so. So we are not going to be adding a cap band on yet. What we're going to do is we're going to be looping these white, the double bands that are laying horizontal, which are my white. We're going to loop those first. We're going to be grabbing the top 2 double bands in there, and we're going to be pulling them down onto this middle pin like that. So it should make that little shape. Come up to the next row up here, reach down, put your hook inside the middle of your double bands, grab the top 2 part of those double horizontal bands. We're going to stretch it down and bring it down over that middle pin like that. So it should be making that little shape. And we're going to do that all the way up. So you're reaching in, grabbing those double bands, stretching it down. We're going to do that all the way up the loom. Make sure you're grabbing the top part of the band and not the bottom. So this is what you're, oh, I skipped one. Make sure you don't skip any like I did. So this is what your loom should look like. So come back to the beginning. You can scoot that down a little bit just so you don't pop it off for the next part, but it's not absolutely necessary that you do that. Just be careful. So now what we're going to do is loop the bands we laid as V's, which for me is my gray and green. So they're not V's anymore, they're upside down V's. So what we're going to be doing is going in the centers, grabbing those bands, and we're going to be looping them out to the sides. We're not going to loop them to the first pins, we're going to be stretching them up to the second. Now, the way you loop this is important because if you go in normally, like this, grab the band, take it off, and stretch it up like that, you're actually turning the band and putting a twist in it. I don't actually want you to do that because it looks messy when the bracelet comes off. So the way I actually want you to grab the band is coming, facing your hook to yourself. You have to come in this little hole in here, take the band off, and you're pulling your hand backwards, skipping the first pin, coming up to the second, and laying it down. So by doing that, it's keeping this band here all straight. There's no twist in there. So again, I'm going to face the hook towards myself. You're going to come into the center pin. Make sure you're going inside your double bands, that little hole that you created. Grab your band in here on the middle pin. Take it off, and then you're going to stretch it backwards, coming up to this second pin, like so. Okay, we'll do that again. Come up to the center pin, put your hook in this hole here, grab the top band, carefully take it off. I kind of pull it towards myself, and then I just pull it backwards, stretching it diagonally out to the left, up to the second pin up here. Be careful when reattaching it, because you don't want to lose this band. Now, if you find it awkward doing it the way I'm doing it and you want to do it the old-fashioned way, you can. But like I said, you're going to get that twist in the band. And I noticed it laid a lot cleaner if you do it like this, keeping that band nice and straight. I'm going to lay it down now. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of mine looped up, and I'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, so when you do get to the very top, your last set of bands to loop, you're just going to loop them out to these 2 pins again. You already have a band laying there, but you're just going to lay these right on top. Like that. And make sure that band in the middle stays in front. Mine popped off. So it should look like that. So we're going to come to the beginning of our loom. And now we are going to loop our white bands again. We're going to be coming on the side here. You can see the double bands from the side. And we're going to be lifting them up and over each pin on both sides. So I like to do just one side at a time. So you're going to grab the 2 bands. You can either go like this right in front of the pin, or you can just come right in here. I come into like the corner where that opening is. Grab the 2 bands and you're going to bring it up and over. Come up to the next pin from the outside, grab those 2 bands, lift them up and over. Up and over. When you get in here, you have a lot of bands, so you don't see that opening as much. But I just put my hook under here and grab it. Bring it up instead of having to stick my hook in there and then pull it out. But it doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you're grabbing those 2 bands and bringing them up. I will say, my light's really bright, so hopefully you can see it okay. But make sure that those bands that you're bringing up and over, which mine are white, are not all twisted, because again, it's going to make your bracelet look a lot nicer if they're straight. You can always do some fixing at the end, but taking your time and trying to keep them straight as you're doing it is going to help a lot. So we're going to do this step all the way up. I'm going to turn mine so my hand's not all in your view. My light is like glaring in my eyes, so I'm really hoping that it's not glaring on the video and that you guys can see everything clearly. I don't know what happened to my good set of light bulbs. My kids probably thought it was a good idea to play hide and seek with my light bulbs. Because I cannot find them. I'm going to do the same thing to the top one. Except the top one is going to end up sliding down like that. And that's fine. So now that my left side's done, we're going to come to the right side and we're going to do the exact same thing. Grab the 2 bands and bring them up. Grab your 2 double bands, bring them up. Again, try to keep them straight and not twisted. Sorry, I went out of the view for a second. I did not realize that. So I'm going to get the last few looped up, and then I'll come back in just a moment, and I will loop the borders up with you. So once you're done that, you're going to want to push down the side bands just a little bit. It doesn't have to be much. It's just so that we can loop the border bands up. And grab whatever color you're using for your border, and we're going to put a cap band on this bottom pin, on your first pin. Even though we have that band there that could be used as a cap band, I like having that cap band. It just keeps things a little bit tighter. So once you have that on, we're just going to do a normal looping for the border. So we're going to go into this pin here, grab your top band, bring it back to itself to the right and the left, and we'll just go up the sides, which I'm confident everyone can do. Just make sure you're pushing any bands out of the way and only grabbing that bottom band. Can you tell I'm getting tongue-tied? I'm going to take it to the top. And then the very top one you'll bring into the center, like so. We'll repeat that on the right side. We're going to take it to the top just like we did on the left. I'm going to get my border done really quickly, and then I'll come back and show you how to remove it. I'll be right back. Okay, so I am at the top. So what you're going to do is grab that band that we laid at the beginning, push back everything on this pin, and grab the very bottom part of that band, bring it up, bring them together. And I forgot to mention in the beginning, you will need one C-clip, but hopefully everyone knows that. Grab your C-clip and attach it to your band, like so. I like to hold it up so that I don't lose it and pop it off of the pin, and then pop the 2 corners off with my hook before I let it go. Now at this point, I would not pull up. It's going to kind of distort things. Use your hook and pop everything off like so. I'm telling you, I know it's quicker to pull it off, but I've made a lot of these and it definitely looks better if you just take a second and remove the outer pins. Once you have the outer pins removed, you can pull the middle straight up. It pops right off. So I'll be back in a second to show you that, and we can stretch it out and clean it up. So when you do take it off of your loom, it may look a little messy. So what you're going to want to do is grab it by the sides and stretch it like this. It's not going to hurt it, don't worry. You're going to be stretching it to the left and the right. Give it a good stretch. And then you also want to stretch it like this way as well, long ways. You just got to do a little bit of fiddling. If any of your bands in the middle are overlapping, just go through one by one and untwist them or fiddle with it so that it's laying correctly. Mostly, though, you just need to pull it to left to right like that, and then like this. You want to untuck any border bands that are tucked in there too much. And the back side, you want to do the same thing on this side, just stretching it out like that. I couldn't get the other back side, these bands, to lay perfect, but if you go through and untwist them, you can get it to lay pretty clean. I mean, this one doesn't look that bad, actually, how it is. So there you have it. Let's hook it up. Locate your C-clip on one end and the cap band on the other end. And voila. And there you have my completed hidden rainbow bracelet. This is my own original design. I certainly hope you guys like it and didn't find it too complicated. If you do make one, you can please find me and tag me on Instagram at Loves to Loom, and also hit that like button down below if you like this bracelet as well. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, so I do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch a video. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get one uploaded, but I certainly wish you all a happy holiday, and I'll see you soon at my next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.